Oh, sorry. How embarrassing. I have the camera rolling. Achoo! Right on the keyboard. Well, I guess we're going now. Um, uh, Actually, one moment, I'm going to get something to drink because it's like 1,000,000 degrees in my office. The sun's pouring through. Hopefully, I wasn't picking my nose too much. Hi, everybody. I'm back. A little sniffly today. Just got back from uh, Vintage Computer Festival West. Hopefully, I didn't pick up COVID. Tonight, we'll be doing a little bit of tipsy programming because I just feel like having a little adult beverage tonight. Yeah, I just see the chat already talking about the Unity announcements today. Woo! That's a very interesting situation, huh? It's going to upset some people. Um, it's kind of interesting. I haven't spent enough time to, try to parse everything to see what it what it all entails, but it's kind of a bummer when it's taking money out of game developers' pockets. Um, One moment. I need to do some promotion on Twitter because I was a dum dum and forgot to block off my sneezing and nose picking from the camera. As you can tell, I'm kind of new to all of this stuff. Hey, Johnny Speed. Yeah, good to see you. Yep, I had to take a little bit of time off because I went to the Vintage Computer Festival, got some cool stuff, hung out with some really amazing people like the Amy and Taylor from Amy and Taylor Show, Adrian's Digital Basement, LGR, a lot of really cool YouTubers, and a lot of very amazing collectors out there that either they're attending or showing their stuff. Okay, how do I find my latest video? Live, I'm in YouTube. Oh, it's labeled the wrong thing. This is part 6. Today it's going to be Happy Haptics. I get to, in real time, dog food our revision 1.4 RC1 drivers, release candidate 1. So this could completely blow up in all of our faces, or it might be a delight. I did get to try some of the new features recently, which included improved wand tracking. We've always had a little bit of instability in the wands, so that got a major upgrade. There's some new power management, which is cool. So, so the glasses aren't just running 1,000% even when they're just sitting on the table and you're not using them. Okay, so get the title updated right. Now I got to share this out to Twitter because I know I was teasing it earlier today and everyone's probably waiting on it there. And in just a second, I want to come back and chat and see what all the Unity developers and maybe the indie developers that might be watching in the chat, what they think about the news. Maybe someone can give me the lowdown on the good, bad, and ugly of the situation. All right, I got to do in two places here and Twitter. We're live under the main thread. And then I should probably do a new tweet. Live developing, live testing version 1.4 RC1 tilt 5 drivers on voxel zombie tonight. Let's see if I can figure out haptics. So haptics is new in this. This is going to open up some other interesting things. So the team made the wand more stable as you move it around, but I don't know if they quite have it tuned up for when you have a big shaker motor going in it. So it's probably going to cause other chaos that they're going to have to fix. Okay, got that out. Sorry, I was going to try to do this, and actually I didn't intend to hit the stream now button either. Yeah. Isn't his name Clint? LGR, Ron Phelps says. Ron Phelps says, I love LGR. I think his name's Clint, maybe. I forget all the YouTubers' names, but this is the first time I actually got a little bit of time to interact with him. Okay, hopefully we got some people streaming in here. And so chat, what do you think about Unity's announcement? I heard that it's going to be a pay per download kind of scheme instead of kind of a revenue, based on tiered revenue. I know people on Twitter have been going a little crazy about it. I'm curious how that compares to Unreal. I haven't done anything in Unreal personally. Other folks on our team do a lot of Unreal stuff. Dadoff Science, greetings from Perth, Australia. Great to see you. It's kind of cool. This time of day we get a lot of folks from like Australia and New Zealand, which is pretty fun. I'm gonna have to try to mix up some of these streams so I can pick up some folks, elsewhere. Data of Science sounds like a mad grab for cash. Yeah, might be. Okay, while we wait for people to chime in on that, I'm going to start to set up our environment for today. So here it is. This is what the control panel looks like for excuse me, for RC 1.4 RC1, release candidate 1. So there's some pretty cool stuff here. We've had a lot of complaints from folks that purchase Tilt 5 that they get the system, they pull it out, they install the driver, and there's one game that comes with the driver, Marbles, a little marble roll game, and they can't find anything else. So the team added some buttons to take you off to places like, obviously you can shop for more Tilt 5 goodies, you can get games and things that are coming soon. I don't know exactly what's going to be placed in here when we release this, but when we click on this, clear out some of this junk. So now it can take you right to the website. So hopefully people can go and find their first free, and go away Microsoft Edge, their first free stuff and their first paid stuff. So this is our Tilt 5 games page, so you can get Takenoko. This is one of the games we've built ourselves. It's a licensed game from Asmodee Digital, or Twin Sails as they call themselves now. So you can play up to 4 players locally, and so you just plug your headsets in and start playing. Or you can connect 4 people remotely and play the game together. You're still going to have to need some kind of voice chat when you do this. We don't have voice chat built into our platform yet, so you need Discord or Skype or something so you can talk to each other. A really cool thing that we added to Takenoko is what's called open hand mode. So normally if you just play it by default, you can't see the other player's cards, but when you're setting up your multiplayer session, if you go to additional options and you go open hand mode, then you can see everybody's card. And this is really awesome for onboarding new players to the game, because when you really play a board game, usually you're sitting there like showing each other cards and like, what should I do? And it's pretty amazing how fast you can get new players up to speed on that game. And then as you scroll down on our games page, there's some of the new hot titles. So Bombfest, this one's really cool. This one just came out this September. This is a really fun multiplayer party game. So you're these little wooden block characters that kind of wobble as you run around, and so you can have up to 4 players at the same time. And you can pick up bombs and different things and throw at each other, and your objective is to knock each other off the platform. When I first played this, I wasn't like, oh, I don't know if I like it too much, because I didn't have time to commit to it. Like I played it for a minute or two. I'm like, wow, it's a little difficult because all the bombs going all over the place, blowing me right off the platform. But when I actually got to sit down for like 10 or 15 minutes, it became crazy fun and addicting. And we ended up the other day, we did a live stream from the office, and we played for hours and hours and hours. It was pretty ridiculous. But there's lots of levels that you unlock, and there's new weapons, things like nuclear bombs and sticky bombs. You can run up to somebody and like stick a bomb onto them. So it's a really, really fun kind of party game. So when you get this, you invite your friends over and you just play for hours. This Mahjong level was kind of fun because you can pick up the bombs and whatnot, but you can also pick up the Mahjong tiles and throw at each other. And then Battle Planet's another new one. So we had a single player version of that, but with this, they just added multiplayer to it. I think there's a minor bug in it that got reported to them, but it's still very playable. The bug is, depending on what order you join when you're playing multiplayer, the wands can get swapped. So they should be able to get that fixed soon, but it's just a minor annoyance if player 1 or player 2 starts out of order. You just have to switch wands. But it's like a twin stick shooter. You can hold the wand like this, and these directional buttons down here are your fire direction, and then this is your move up here. So it's like a Robotron, or here, I'll play it really quick. Oh, some folks were asking what the cost is. Most of the games for Tilt 5 are pretty inexpensive. A lot are free. A lot of them are in kind of the $5 range, $9 range, $19, things like that. I don't think we have any that are much higher than that. So on this this game, you run around and there's different objectives. Like there's bombs you have to defuse, you have to clear the planets, and there's all this wide variety of weapon pickups. Oh, this giant snake creature like from Slither was really cool. It kind of goes under the ground and gets you. Giant spiders. If you die and you're playing multiplayer, your buddy can come over and revive you. So it's pretty fun, trying to revive someone while not dying yourself. And there's like launch pads and stuff you can jump over. And then there's a nice level up system. There's weapons upgrades that you can buy in-game buy, not microtransactions. Then you come down a little bit further on here. People are asking, can you describe what the game looks like? I don't know which game. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying close attention to the stream. See when that came through. So the labs. So we have another section. So if you scroll down here, there's a bunch of different games that you can buy or get free, on the games page. But if you go to the labs page, this is where there's a lot of experimental free stuff, and there's some real gems in here. So Go Monster Go on the labs page is free. This is like Fall Guys. So it's up to 4 players, and as you run along here, there's hammers, there's different things that try to knock you off, and this is a really great party game, because you're all trying to get to your objective together, and you get knocked down, you can shove each other off. It's wonderful free game to get. Let's see, what else do we have? The Till 5 demo pack is a really good one to grab. So this is another free one. This is one that we put together. This is a bit of an onboarding experience where we just take you through a bunch of different ways to use our system. So there's games where you use the wand. There's games where you have to use your head to aim at things. There's joystick-based games. There's pointing games. There's firing games. So like this one's a pretty fun one, and all of them are multiplayer, so you can play them single or multiplayer. This one's called Tumbly Tower. You have to hit all the green blocks and avoid the red blocks, because red blocks are negative points, and then there's bombs, and then there's little guys that fly through that are bonus points. There's time extension things that you have to hit. Surprisingly addicting. Then there's just one level of our Marble Maker. Soon we're going to be releasing the Marble Maker. This is like Marble Madness, but it's multiplayer up to 4 players, so you can be zooming around on the marble tracks and trying to knock each other off. But once we release Marble Maker, then it'll have a lot more levels, and you can build your own custom levels and link them together and make your custom tracks and play between 1 and 4 players. Oh my God, I am so sorry. I'm just talking. Oh, sorry, everyone. Okay, everyone drink. I'm a dumbass. Hey! Should I just quit? Or we just... Oh, nothing on the screen, nothing on the screen. All right, I'm going to have to stop for a bit and just realize what an idiot I am. Pro streamer here, as the chat room says, pro streamer. All right, let's do something a little bit different, and then I'll come back and go through this stuff faster. Since you heard all the promo hype nonsense, then I'll just show you little pictures of stuff. Oh man, I can't believe it. I'm glad other people are drinking as well. Okay, so I've got a little thing I've been doing on these live streams that seems like folks like. It's kind of like a Q&A to see if the chat room can get it. And I have something really obscure that I want to show you and see if any of you can figure out what this item is. And it's usually something from my collection in here. And I've got 3 things tonight, so I'll just spread it out across the stream. I'm so embarrassed. First, it's what a horrible start to the stream. First, I start off and I sneeze on my keyboard and probably pick my nose. And then I talk to a Mixcast screen. All right, everyone, here's your chance. Type as fast as you can. What is this? Let's see if it'll focus. I'll just hold it up here. So it has some threads down here. Then it's got some holes around the side. And then it's taken some damage through here. There's like a hole through there, and it looks like it's been burned pretty badly. Come on, focus. So John says a copper slug. Well, it is copper. It's very heavy. Looks like a part of an old fuse, John says. Steampunk bullet. Something from Jumanji. Gas burner head. That's close. That's close. Someone says a race. Probably like thinking of a bearing. Flamethrower nozzle. That's kind of close. Everyone's like, I don't know. And Johnny Speeds keeps telling me I'm a pro streamer. No, I don't think I'll ever be a pro streamer. Oh, interesting guess. Prototype said spot welder tip. I think I would have guessed that. Oh, John got it in the chat room. Rocket thruster thingy. So what this is this is called a pintle tip that's down in the combustion chamber of a rocket. So then you have the combustion chamber and then you have the nozzle down here. And so this mixes the oxygen and RP1 rocket fuel. And so this is what it's supposed to look like here. And there's a little hex head so you can screw it into the combustion chamber, reaching up inside the nozzle. Someone almost missed show and tell. Glad you made it here in time. So sometimes you see rockets have kind of a green color come out of them, and that is, in a lot of cases, that's I think it's called hypergolic fuel that just self-ignites. But other times when you see green, it's things like the pintle tip eroding away. And I don't really know the mechanism of why this one survived and this one melted down. I assume it's probably some fuel delivery problem where you have too much oxidizer. But I used to work at Astra, which is a low Earth orbit rocket company up in Alameda, which has had some pretty interesting successes and failures. Oh, Prototype says it looks like a large rosebud torch tip. That's fun. I used to weld a lot and used a lot of oxyacetylene torches, so that makes me feel really good to hear that. Let me show you an interesting thing. Sideways. So Astra is a rocket company that recently had the rocket that flew sideways. So I helped on the navigation system for the rocket. So, you know, little my DNA kept this rocket upright. So in this case, one of the rocket engines didn't ignite or went out promptly, and it just flew horizontally off the launch pad. Maybe this is going to be another view of it. I don't know how happy they were with me. gone up to attend a bunch of the launches, and I tend to giggle when things like this happen. I mean, it means really bad things for them when the rockets don't fly correctly. So, yeah, it was flying horizontal. It eventually lost enough mass burning that fuel, it started to actually go up, but they ended up terminating it and it dropped off into the ocean. No sound. Oh, yeah, it's muted.
Your next objective is max Q.
No, that's funny. They said next objective is max Q. No, I think they would have known that it wasn't going to make it to max Q. It's pretty fun. It was fun working on the Astro rocket. It was a little tiny startup of maybe 30 people when I was helping them out. Oh, this must be a different launch or something. Was this the one where it went sideways? Yeah. Yeah, they let it run for quite a while. Maybe it did make it to max Q. I don't recall. All right, let's go back to the promotion. You know, Tilt 5 does pay my paycheck, which allows me to eat, which allows me to stream and do nerdy things like go to retro computer shows. So I'm going to shamelessly plug Tilt 5. You should all have one. They're on sale, only for a little bit longer. So I'll go back. I'll try to go faster. Let's bring up the Tilt 5 manager. So this is the new Tilt 5 control panel. So this is the RC 1.4 drivers, and we added some features to it. A lot of people complained they bought their system and it only came with like one little marble game built into it, and then they didn't know exactly where to get the games. So we added this little set of buttons that we can program up to lead people to games. So it takes you to the game page. For those of you that heard me but didn't see, this is Takanoko. It's a really fun board game for up to 4 players local or 4 players remote. As I was mentioning before, if you're doing remote, you're going to have to use Discord or Skype or something to talk to each other until we get some kind of voice chat built right into our control panel. This is a really fun game. We played a lot of this, but you have to get your panda to do certain objectives. Like here's some cards. You have to get your panda to jump over and eat 2 bamboo to collect this card. This is your farmer. You have to get your farmer to do things like grow, certain color bamboo. And I was mentioning that there's open hand mode, which is a really cool thing. It was actually, I was helping play test it, and before they added the isolation between each of the players, all the cards were visible to everyone. And then when they actually added the separation between the players, I hated it because I couldn't look at other people's cards. And I was like, we've got to add back the well, they called it open hand mode. They're like, oh, that's just an open hand mode. And I find it's the best way to onboard people, and for me it's a more fun way to play the game. You can see everyone's cards. It's fun. You can zoom in and out, move around the game board as you add tiles, and it kind of pokes out of the game board. It's a great way to chill on a Saturday evening. This is a paid game. Someone was asking how much it costs. Does it say on our page? You may have to go actually to Steam to get the price, because it might be on sale or not on sale, but it's not terribly expensive. I think it's under $20. This is Bomb Fest. This is our new addiction around the office. So there's cute little wooden figures that are kind of wobbling back and forth as you run around. You pick up these bombs and throw at each other. You can hold on to the bombs until they're about ready to explode and throw them at people. And as you level up, you get things like sticky bombs that you can stick to someone's back, which are kind of hilarious, and nuclear bombs and all kinds of level ups. And then there's other objects in the scene that you can pick up and throw at people. Objective is just to stay on the tile. There's one that's really fun. It's in the bottom of a sink, and there's a hole in the middle that you can fall down. It's quite challenging as all four of you are running around the table. Tag Media is asking about Unity. Yeah, we were talking about Unity earlier. I don't know much about it yet. I've been too busy today to actually go look at all the details, but I hear that it's upsetting a lot of indie developers. I feel bad for, probably going to affect some of the bigger studios too. Like I saw some tweets where it could turn into a lot of money for some of these studios. Yeah, I mean, the indie developer is already struggling to make a buck, and to have another burden on top of that, like Steam and other platforms that take their pound of flesh. I don't know. I'm kind of reserving my judgment until I understand a little bit more, but I see a lot of people are upset. I mean, I've been thinking about Godot for a long time, and by the way, we just got Godot support a month or so ago. Godot is like nipping at Unity's heels, so this might be the catalyst to really get Godot adopted. I don't know. Any of you that have worked with Godot, drop in the chat room. Let me know how you think it compares to Unity. So this is Battle Planet. This one was a single player game for a year or so now. They just added multiplayer support, and I was mentioning that there was like a bug. It's kind of a small annoyance, but they'll fix it eventually. And depending on when you join, sometimes player 1 or 2, it's a 2-player co-op game. Controls get swapped. So here, I'll play this video. I love this game. It's really fun. It's like it's a twin stick shooter. Basically, you fire in different directions with these buttons, and you move your character around. Absolutely beautiful graphics. They have their own render pipeline. It makes it look really pretty. There's a couple little bugs. I noticed there were some shadows that were doing funny things the other day, but it's getting close to being polished up, and it's not terribly expensive. But yeah, many hours of play in this. You can level up your character and your weapons, and there's a lot of really cool enemies and objectives, like like this giant worm creature and giant spiders and stuff like that. There's the spider. The mechanic I like about it a lot is if you die, your friend can come revive you. And then if you scroll down here, there's a bunch of stuff that you can buy. Some's free, some's paid, out of kind of legit games. Then we have the labs, which is stuff that just doesn't quite meet the threshold yet for being a full-fledged game. It's like maybe still in the works, but there's, like I was saying, there's some real gems in here. So Go Monster Go, I highly recommend when you get your Tilt 5 2 or 3 player, 4 player system, get Go Monster Go. This is like Fall Guys, and this is crazy fun. The more people you add to it, the more fun it is. So you get to create your monster, and then you run through these race tracks, just like Fall Guys, with a bunch of stuff that can knock you off, like hammers and plungers and walls you have to run through, and tipping platforms, and a bunch of fun creatures you can create. So this is hours of free fun. And then the Tilt 5 demo pack is like a must-have. So this one lets you play a bunch of different things. And this is where I finally saw the chat before saying, like, you idiot, you're not sharing. This is Tumbly Towers, where you play between 1 and 2 players, and you're fighting for top score by hitting the green blocks. This is Marbles, which is kind of like one level of what's going to be our Marble Maker, where you can build your own Marble Madness tracks. It can be up to 4 players, and you run around trying to knock each other off the platforms and avoid hammers and smashers. Marble Maker, I'm excited to get that out. As Sean Starr says, Go Monster Go looks like a lot of fun. It really is. This is the drop, multiplayer, single or multiplayer. You have to try to get your parachute guys through the rings. You can knock each other off if you're above, you can knock their parachute off and they fall, which is kind of fun. This is Private Eye, where you have to find things. There's a bunch of different things in there that you can play. There's even crapola that I built, like this satellite simulator. So this brings in the NORAD data for all the satellites. And if you have a ham radio antenna with a Yaesu positioner, you can actually track the satellites as they go across. And then just to make it fun and silly, you can vacuum up the satellites. Yeah, there's they were asking any co-op games. Yeah, there's competitive and co-op games. Like Battle Planet co-op. All right, let's do some work. There's that. Okay, so I installed the new driver and I got the new control panel, which has a bunch of bells and whistles in it. Let me get. You're exploring this in real time with me. I'm going to set up 2 pairs of glasses. So off to my right, I have a pair of glasses just sitting on a microphone stand. And so I already see that this is potentially not what I want. So right now, until we add a few more features where you can order the glasses for player 1, player 2, the way you set up player 1, 2, 3, 4 is by the name alphabetical. And what you do is you click on the glasses, you go to actions, and you set a friendly name. And the glasses that I just plugged in are sitting on the stand. I want those to be player 2. So I said player 2, glasses 2, anything in alphabetical order. Could be A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to plug in the glasses I want to use. The team keeps rating my office. So we had a little play test the other day where we brought a local gaming club in to play a bunch of games. And someone walked in here and grabbed all the glasses off my desk. So okay, now I just plugged in the other glasses. Oh, this is interesting. That one was already player 2. So I'm going to change it to player 1 because I want that. Okay. So I will start my wands, make sure they're all blinking blue. Make sure I got the right wands in here. And let's do Mixcast. So Mixcast uses just a webcam to show what's being played. So it does compositing. So I just want to check it real quick, make sure that no one stepped on my camera. So you load Mixcast. This is a free tool you can download from mixcast.me. And if you pay for their premium package, you can do a bunch of cool stuff like higher resolution and a bunch of other features. But the free version is quite good to get going too. So it detects the game board. You can see how well it detected it. This is a little off. I'm going to try again. See, the webcam's missing some of the dots, so it wasn't quite aligning well, but that looks pretty good. Hit apply. Go to virtual cameras. So the virtual cameras are the ones that you can switch between. I only have one camera hooked up right now, so we only have one virtual camera, and it's hooked up to this Microsoft camera. So we're good to go there. So if I hit play on our game, I think that's a little loud. I'm going to turn the audio down. Oh, what? I'm a dummy. I closed Mixcast. I didn't just minimize it, I think. One moment, please. This is... Alright, I should just turn the stream off. That's terrible day. Terrible day. I just can't do anything right. There it is. There it is. So There's my hand wiggling around in there. I don't really like the position of it today, but that's all right. We'll deal with it. Okay, let's go. So the cool thing, our team always tries to keep backwards compatibility. So this has got this Unity project has the 1.3 drivers. And so it's compatible with it has the 1.3 SDK in it. But, 1.4 drivers are installed and it still works. But I want all the bells and whistles like haptics. That's what I want to explore today for sure. So when you're upgrading, the way I found the best way to do it, and since I hit play once, and this is kind of, I think, a quirk of Unity, is Unity likes to grab a hold of files and not let go of them. And what I really want to do is go down to my project assets folder here and delete the Tilt5 plugin. But it won't, if I do that, if I delete, it's going to complain because Unity is just squatting on one of our DLLs and you can't get rid of it. So what you have to do is actually leave Unity and come back. What we should do one of these days, once we get the zombie game done, is quite a few Unity developers that hang out in here as we're doing this. I should get a live video, like a Skype call going, and do some pair programming with one of you if you're up for it. Or grab one of the team members and pull them in and make them team program with me and frustrate them to no end. All right, I'm going to leave Unity. And then I'm going to come back in. And while that is loading, I'm going to get my ChatGPT going. I know it's horrific, but I'm going to use ChatGPT maybe tonight. Think like a senior Unity 3D developer. Set this up to get that in place. Data Science, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Unity technology still running at a net loss per share of 30 June 2023. So their change in billing is probably to get into profit. Yeah. That's the challenge of running a company. Like, it's not easy to make a profitable company, especially how the evolution where you go from early startup to middle-sized startup to successful company like Unity. Sometimes you don't figure out how to be profitable along the way, and even investors encourage you not to figure it out until later, which sometimes puts you in these situations where you have a large user base, you're going to have to upset them. Okay, so now I restarted Unity, and now I can delete Tilt5. Okay. So now the Tilt5 prototype's really unhappy up here because I deleted all of its script files and whatnot. I've found this trick of having to leave and come back in is needed in a lot of different plugins that you want to upgrade. Someone said Unity didn't bet heavily in NFTs. Oh, didn't they bet heavily in NFTs? Did they? Is that true? There is, NFTs didn't quite work out like they all hoped for. Okay, I'm going to import the new Tilt5 plugin. So once I nuke the Tilt5 directory and go to custom package. Oh, I'm already there, but I'll show you guys anyway. Um, the Tilt 5 plugin is under Program Files when you install it. Um, Tilt 5 SDK Unity plugin, and then there's a package, and you can pull it in, import. This usually works fine. It usually doesn't blow everything up unless you're like using Tilt 5 version 1.0 drivers and you try to go to 1.4, you're like 4 revisions behind. Oh no. What is this? Is that a... Is that real? Or was that just leftover? That was Mixcast complaining about something. This could put a real damper on the live stream tonight if I blew up Mixcast somehow. Okay, it was just complaining probably because the scripts disappeared. So last time we streamed, I was theorizing that there might be a kind of edge condition in our wand buttons, and I still kind of think there might be. It might be in the trigger. We may go explore and try to chase that down. Because I ran a test where I put a counter and I was changing between scenes, but then as I was driving home, I was thinking like, you know, a button is just a bool, you know, but the analog value on the stick might actually be going to 0 or to 1. So that might be why we're getting one shot fired. Because I've seen this weird behavior in other things in the past where there's just a spontaneous thing that happens when you start a scene. Yeah, Alan, yeah, the trigger bounce thing. All right, let's see. Oh, that seemed to work. Okay, let's jump right into trying to figure out the haptic stuff. So I had a chat going, and I closed Chrome. Let me get a chat window open off screen. Maybe. I have to actually find out where the function is to do this, and then we have to chase down where we actually want to do it. Chat. There it is. Okay. So in this game, we've got the core section here. We have player 1 and 2. We're going to expand this out to 4 eventually, but I'm just working with 2 glasses for now to get everything done. Am I the only one that forgets everything that they've done after 3 days of being away? So under player, we have player character, and we have our player agent here. The player agent is doing things like firing the bullet. And last stream, we hacked a bullet so that we had this kind of splayed out 3-bullet shot. And then we have the Tilt 5 input script here. So I think we want to go into agent, and that's where we want to add the haptics. Okay, let's refresh our memory what's going on. There's a bunch of dead code in here. So this original project, this is a Unity asset flip. So there was this really cool asset on Unity that was a kind of complete project that had the animated characters, a couple scenes, and all the voxel zombies and stuff all animated. So I used that, and it was originally done as an example for a touchscreen. So I've been slowly stripping out all the touchscreen stuff. So I think these, yeah, 0 references to this fire down. I think this fire down was actually used for I'm making it messy, aren't I? Fire down and fire up have 0 references, and then they call start firing function. So I'm going to do something to just make sure I can get rid of this over time. I'm going to get rid of at least these 2 functions, and I might go try to this move left and move right, go and kind of clean that up. Alan says, forgetfulness. Oh no, not at all. I try to be in the habit of, when I finish my code work on Friday, leave a note for myself on Monday. That's a good idea. The problem is I probably wouldn't be able to decipher my note even. Okay, let's go find start firing. I think that's where we want to try to put this haptics in. So start firing. Yeah, this looks good. It's got 4 references to it. Okay. That's good. Till5 input script is accessing it. And then I've got all this other junk that I think we need to trim away eventually. That, you know, UI buttons, touch script. Yeah, that's got to die someday. Is there anyone in here in the chat room that went to VCF Midwest? If you ever get a chance to go. It's like the biggest vintage computer show I've ever been to. It was pretty amazing. So if parent is alive, if firing is not null, I'm a little worried. This function here, I'm just going to blindly cut and paste it from get out of here. No, I'm going to look at it so I can type it in. I'm afraid, so the way I have this set up is when you pull the trigger, it starts spamming this function from an external input script. And I don't know how robust our haptics is going to be if we just spam it with a bunch of stuff. Oh, Johnny Speed asked if I got any good video from the fair. No, I didn't video anything, but a lot of fun photos. So Amy and Taylor from the Amy and Taylor show, which have a really cool vintage computer video game console channel, brought wigs to the show. I don't want to spoil why they brought it, just in case they want to talk about it. But there are a lot of photos of various YouTubers wearing these goofy wigs and famous computer designers like Bill Hurd. So took a lot of photos of myself wearing these ridiculous wigs and other people like Adrian Black wearing these wigs. Actually, you know, I'm going to go to this coroutine. Let's take a look at that coroutine. That might be a more appropriate place because this might do the cadence of how often the bullets are spawned. Okay, so from that function, it fires off this coroutine. There's a small delay. Flip gun delay. Oh, okay, it sets up the delay. And there's a small wait while firing. Instantiate a bullet prefab at the gun tip position and its rotation, and then wait. This might be perfect. We might be able to fire off the haptics each time a bullet comes out. Yeah, some folks said that they haven't been there, unfortunately. Johnny Speed says you talk to such interesting people at the venues you go to. You can't avoid not talking to some of these really cool people at VCF Midwest just because there's just such a high density of all of the YouTubers and other like historic engineers and game developers and whatnot. The one person that was missing was Dave from Usagi Electric. I was really sad not to see him there. He's such a fun guy. People are still talking about how they keep from forgetting what they did at Friday when they come back Monday. Future me versus past me kind of things. All right, I think this is what I want to do. I want to do the tilt 5. So it's tilt 5 dot wand. Try send. No. Try send. I think I've been given some bad info. Is it send impulse? It's not there. Leaving your boss hanging. So embarrassing on a live stream. Tilt 5 wand. Tilt 5 dot wand dot try send impulse. Could it be under input? It seems like a weird place for it. No. I was promised it was in here. Actually, maybe I should read the chat. Write to the engineer, I say, I want to try the wand. What's the function for it? Boom, what I'm trying to do. Cool, I'll give it a try tonight. Is it in 1.4 RC1? Should be, fingers crossed. I don't know why it wouldn't be, lol. If it works, let me know if it interferes with wand tracking at all. Let me type real fast. Doesn't seem to be there. Wait. I could this could be user error. this this feels like a Monday. What the heck is going on? All of these goof ups. Did I forget to install the new SDK? Uh, I think it's highly likely. One moment, please. I've got the engineers worked up. Okay, go to engineering chat. Where was it? I saw it come through. I don't see it in my downloads. I'm a moron. I may have just reinstalled the driver over top of the same driver. All right, while that downloads, let me show you something, a good time for show and tell. Each time I bone something up, it's my chance to, I have to show you something. And drink. All right, so as a kid, I received this from a friend of the family that took a trip to Japan. That was, I don't even know what business they were in. They went to Japan all the time, and they'd bring back the world's most amazing gadgets. And I loved this thing. So this is Nintendo's Donkey Kong 2, which is a Game & Watch, and it has monochrome step graphics for this game. Sorry, I'm just trying to multitask here. Where your Donkey Kong, is it Donkey Kong Jr., it looks like, trying to make it past little alligators, and then you move up a level, then you move to wires with sparks. That's the bottom screen. So you go across, then you can climb up some vines, and then there's wires with sparks, and it's all step graphics, so it's like chunk, 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 chunk. It was before low-cost dot matrix screens, and then you crawl up these vines, and you pop up on the top screen, and then there's more freaking alligators. You have to jump up, you have to get the key, and then you have to run across missing alligators. Then there's these freaking birds that are flying across that are trying to get you as you climb up the ladders to try to get to your dad, who is locked up with chains, and you have to unlock all 4 of the chains to free dad. Anyway, I love this thing so much. This kept me entertained forever as a child. I mean, it was like the best thing ever. I would long road trips and things like this, I just played. Oh, demonstration, they say. There's a couple cool design features, and this is so innovative. I don't know how common it was to have flex circuits that went through a hinge, but somehow they came up with this flex circuit that could withstand thousands of cycles, which is pretty amazing. The other thing I really like, an aesthetic choice, what do they call it? They do it a lot on roadsters and cars, where they put this swirl pattern in. So they actually, it looks like they took a fly cutter on a mill cutter, and they went across and they put this really cool circular pattern into the metal cover, which kind of gives it this holographic effect as you wave it around in the light. Oh shoot, I cannot remember what it's called, where you buff that pattern in. I don't know a ton about the actual ICs in this, but I've heard stories that it was using chips designed for calculators. And so two little like 1.5 volt hearing aid batteries would run for like months on this thing. So all right, let's try to demonstrate it so you can at least hear the audio on it. So there's the audio. All right. Oh, I died. Hit an alligator. Jumped. Oh yeah, I jumped and I pushed the key up to the top level. There's no way I'm going to be able to demonstrate this fully, but Dadoff Science says surface grinding. I don't think it's surface grinding. It's circular fine cuts, and then it's been lacquered. So the fly cutter went across and put hemispherical grooves in it. Yeah, Alan says it takes them back. Yeah, this, modern kids these days would look at it and be like, that's so lame. All right, I think we're potentially good to go. I think the download happened. And I thought I was getting so good at doing the streaming thing last week. How quickly I got rusty. What's awesome is like when you start your streams up, it gives you kind of like stats of what's happened in the last week. And apparently people hate this so much. I've lost 300 subscribers, which doesn't bother me one bit, but it's just kind of funny. Where did that file go? Why is it not showing up in my downloads? Is Google... I'm going to try downloading again. It says it's scanning for viruses. Maybe it's full of viruses, and that's why it's not coming down. All right, I see you there. I see you. I'm clicking you before you disappear. All right, you can watch it in real time with me. Till 5 is a revolutionary way to play games where the action unfolds in a shared holographic space that blends physical and virtual worlds. Let's get started. I agree. Oh, I see the Android APKs going up. So we support Android, Android, Linux, and Windows. Hey Ben, I'm glad you like seeing live streams. I think live streams are the only thing I can pull off right now. For those of you that haven't done YouTube videos, and I never had really high production values at all, just the burden of editing videos just prevents me from ever posting anything. I have hard drives full of things that I recorded that I was like building something or doing something, and just the thought of sitting there for hours even trying to edit a really janky video together is just off-putting. So I think this is the way I'm going to go for a while, and we might end up with 100 followers at the end, but I'm okay with that. Okay, So now we have to go through this procedure again. Got to close Unity because I think I hit play once. To let go of all of the DLLs. Ben says Tilt 5 makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that's the thing that people don't realize about the Tilt 5 system is it's just so much different than AR and video pass-through. It's just so much nicer to use. It's just it's more comfortable than a fixed focus system. It's so much lighter. Oh, roommate 625 said that they loved the magnetic logic video I made. That was an interesting video because it took me a very long time. It could have been a couple of years to kind of like gather enough information and materials and books and just kind of read about it. Part-time, of course, not full on trying to make the video, but I was super intrigued with magnetic logic. So magnetic logic, there were a couple big mainframe computers that were built out of magnetic logic. It maybe could have been the alternative to vacuum tubes if transistors hadn't come along. And I used this really interesting ferrite that has a square hysteresis to it. So when you magnetize it one way, it absorbs a magnetic field, at a certain rate, and then when you flip the magnetic field, it changes at a different rate. It kind of gives you this little eye diagram, and that's that little dead zone in the middle is how you can do logic with it. And anyway, I put this video together to show how you can wind these little coils on these ferrite cores to do magnetic logic, and I was just like so happy about it. And then I posted it and it got like 50 views, and I'm like, oh my god, I put so much work into it. Yeah, it's someone's asking, it's like core memory. It's exactly the same kind of ferrite, but you kind of need bigger cores than core memory. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully it was just my stupidness. I'm going to delete the Tilt 5 directory. Everything's going to get mad. Oh, cool. People said they found me because of the video. Yeah, it was one of those videos that took off really slow, and then the right people found it, and then it just kind of took off from there. It's got quite a few views now, but in the early hours of it being on YouTube, it was a little disappointing. Okay, I'm import the Tilt 5 plugin. Then other times I would do like art projects, and it just like boom, 500,000, 1 million views, and I'm like, well, that was like fun and everything, but it was technically not that difficult. And what was funny is always about my channel when I was doing lots of YouTube videos, like I'd do something like a little bit more artistic, and then like the technical folks would be like, screw you, unsubscribing, I came here for technical stuff. And then you'd collect up some followers on like the artistic side, and then I'd do something like magnetic logic or whatever. And the art people like, screw you, I'm out of here. I'm here for like artistic things. Why do you do what I want? It's kind of funny. All right, let's make sure I didn't bust anything. Here, actually, I should actually try to play this. I mean, there might be some folks that never saw this. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. They did do a good job on the wand. The wand is more responsive now. So the way this game is played, this is actually, there's 2 players in here and 2 wands. So right now, the other glasses that are on the stands are seeing player 2's wand, which is in my right hand, and my left hand is player 1 wand. And if I move the joystick back and forth, my character runs between waypoints. And then when I point at things, my player rotates around to point in that direction. So when I start the game, I can just point to what I want to shoot. It feels really good, and then I can like strafe side to side between the waypoints. And the objective of this game was to have something that was slightly easier for people that had never played games before. You'll see how the wands work when I cross them. Oh yeah, very nice. All right. Don't cross the wands. Clemens says, valuable lesson that one can never make everyone happy. That is so true when you're on the internet. Most likely you're going to piss everybody off, as I found. The early days of YouTube when I was doing it, like I was like posting a video that would get like 50 views, and like most were nice, and then one like nasty comment come in and I'd be like, oh. But after a while you get very thick skin, and it's just like, yeah, that's just trolls. They're just trying to be mean. All right, now we can get back to this. Okay, tilt 5 dot wand dot try send impulse. All right, one moment. I need to tell the team that I was a bonehead and let them know. If I can find the right window. I was a bonehead. Didn't install the SDK. All right. Ben Cox says he has 2 videos on YouTube and a couple of views. Yep, everybody has to start there. Let's see, try send impulse. All right, what do we got to do? So first thing is amplitude. The amplitude of the impulse is between 0 and 1. All right, let's go. Let's turn it to 11 and go 1. Next thing we enter is the duration between 0 and 1/3 of a second. Okay, 0.3. I'm not going to go clear to max. I don't want to have a 1 off. Okay, next thing is player index, which by the way, I think, do I have player index in here? Oh, darn it. I only have that on the input. So what I'm going to do, yeah, I'm really frustrated that they set the impulse between 0 and 1. It should be between 0 and 1.1 or something at least. All right, so we need to tell this function which player we are, 1, 2, 3, or 4. So I'm going to do til5 dot player index and then call player index. That way in the editor I can go back and set each one of these up for player 1, 2, and 3. I saw something really clever my co-founder Jamie did that I liked, where you can have like a script you add, which is player identity or something like that, and then all of your scripts you attach to a game object can just reference that. But I'm going to be too lazy, and I'm too lazy to do that right now. you know, player index doesn't exist in the current context. Oh. In the wrong class. That needs to be down here. Okay. Then controller index, we can just hard code it because this game's only going to use the right hand. Okay. What could go wrong? I was warned that they haven't really tested this, like making sure like the wand, let me explain. The wand inside has, the wand has infrared LEDs, so the glasses are looking down, finding this. It gives you absolute position. There's also an IMU that measures rotation and acceleration. And well, you add a rumble motor to this thing, it's going to see lots of acceleration. So there's probably a little work that needs to be done to maybe dampen acceleration when the haptics motor's going off. But just got to send it and try it. Did I hit save? Yes. Anyone out there working on a Tilt 5 game? I don't feel anything. Oh. Okay. It's Tuesday's Monday and everything's going wrong. Remember when I was talking about the player index? I did not set it. Set to none. So we're on player 1. And then we're going to go, and this was on the agent script, so I'm going to go set player 2 to player 2. Save it before it crashes. What, Alan says we don't ship to New Zealand? That doesn't sound right. Alan, if you want to get one in New Zealand, just write to support. We'll get you one there. That sounds suspicious to me. Tag Media says, I've only started getting off the ground with Unity. Once I'm a little more versed, I'll plan on diving in for sure. Yep. It's not too difficult to get going on Unity. I'm probably only a year and change into doing stuff in Unity, and I've made some pretty fun stuff, especially enslaving the robot overlords ChatGPT. Yeah, just write to support. We'll figure out how to get it there. We have worldwide certifications except for just a couple, like very small countries. So we can ship into most places. And I'm going to try to remember to go ask the team, because it seems like during our Kickstarter campaign, I'm sure we shipped there. We shipped to over 30 countries right off our website. Here, I'll put it near the... I think the duration's too long because the motor just runs continuously. Feels cool. Here, let me turn the sound down a little bit. That must be annoying. It's not affecting the tracking too much. A little. I'm trying to also, yeah, there was a couple little cutouts. All right, that's pretty cool. That felt kind of neat, but whoa. Whoa, is that? Both controllers just went bonkers, I think, when I took my glasses off. I want to try that again. Okay, took the glasses off. I'm gonna weird. Let me try to reproduce. For some reason, but like both wands, I think it just went. All right, firing, taking the glasses off, and then stopping the game. Have to keep an eye out for that. Tag Media says, the game I want to make is an isometric style twisted metal car combat game. I think that would be awesome 4-player fun. Agreed. Do you guys remember, was it called 4x4 Off-Road? It was an arcade game, and it was a real quarter eater, but we had so much fun. It had a steering wheel, and you'd go there and play against each other. Lots of like spinning the wheel and trying to like get the best like carve around a corner. All right, turning it to 11 is not acceptable. I mean, 1/3 of a second seems very short, but it just seems like it's overlapping. Let's do 0.05. We'll keep it at 11 for impulse power. Oh, Ben Cox is saying multiplayer Arkanoid. That would be fun too. Okay. Oh, did I click away from Unity? What did I do? What did I do? Oh, did my glasses not come out of sleep? That one did. The control panel says it's okay. I guess that's why this is a release candidate. It's still in sleep. Oh, Jeffrey says multiplayer Dune 2. That'd be cool. .3D multiplayer Space Invaders, instead of 2D Matrix, a 3D cluster. Someone says WTF. That's exactly what I'm thinking. WTF. It could also be my USB ports on this. This poor laptop's been to hell and back. All right, we're up. We're going. All right, I'm going to totally forget to move this back, but we'll go. Oh, that's nice. I kind of feel... Oh, it did it again. As soon as I stopped Unity. The two... That is not right, I'm sure. I think there's an edge case in here on the brand new, fresh from the programmer's desk haptics. As soon as I stopped Unity, like both wands went zzz, but not every time. All right, I think it feels really good, but I think it's going to be kind of annoying having like a full intensity because I gotta makes my hands feel tingly. So I think we need to go a little more subtle on the haptics. Oh, there goes the Vox clock right now. Fast and Curious says, Jerry did it live, yay! I did it. I did it. Y'all, I did it. It only took me 1 hour and a half to do something that should have been the first part of the video, and then we should have moved on. But isn't that how it goes sometimes? All right, I think this is, all right, I turned down the impulse. We'll try that, but someone mentioned the Vox clock. I don't know if I've shown it on the stream, so I'm going to go grab it and show it off because I have this is kind of like my nostalgia day, just like the Donkey Kong 2, the Vox clock means a lot to me. Oh, and of course I forgot to go back to programming view. So I cut the intensity in half so it's not making my hand tingly, I hope. So this is a Vox clock that was at Radio Shack, and a friend of the family had one of these, and we'd go over, we had this like kind of standing invitation where we'd go over a couple times a month and have pizza, which was exciting for me as a kid. And then the adults would sit around the living room and, you know, talk about boring stuff. And then I had to entertain myself in the rest of the house. But they had one of these because the wife of the couple was a little bit visually impaired. And so when I'd go over there, you know, every time I'd be like, can I push the button? And they would torture me. They'd be like, you can push it once, either now or later. And so I'd be like, do I do it now or later? And you know, it's like, you know, how many licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. I don't think I ever made it to the end, but I'd get to push the button once.
It's 7:02 p.m.
And so, as a child of the 80s, you know, I bought into all the sci-fi technology that computers would talk to us and we would talk to them, and they would all sound like robots and stuff like that. So one more time, just for fun.
It's 7:02 p.m.
Isn't that delightful? That is so delightful. I gotta get it away from me though. It's a little too loud when I'm trying to do stuff. Yes, Alan, I can press the button whenever I like, and I do. And sometimes I press it a bunch. Here. Yeah. back in the 80s, of course, they would do all of this music with like samples and, you know, chopped up samples and stuff. So you could do
7:03 p.m.
Needless to say, my dad would be like, stop pushing it so much. You can only push it once. That's probably what they meant, is you can only push it once, not like sit there and push it a bunch. All right, let's test this out, and then let's figure out something else to do in the game, because I think haptics is a huge win, except for that bug when I stop Unity, which I'm going to have to file a ticket on, which I love to do. Filing tickets, which is a lie, because I never do. I usually just walk over to someone else and complain, and then they file the ticket. Someone says I should replace the Mixcast logo with a twirling logo of some sort. It's a little bit out of my control, because that's the default output from Mixcast. So Mixcast, let me bring it up. Could be interesting. Well, I don't need to bring it up. There's a button you can press that says, like, make it look like a webcam, and that's what's being fed into OBS. Yeah, Alan says, good to be king or queen. Yeah, maybe not fair for them. Oh, it's, you're not gonna be able to tell, but this is I can't describe how cool this is, because it just lines up so well with these visuals of this little character on the table. It's so nice. Here, let me switch to the big shot. I definitely and it lines up so precisely with the flash too, which is nice. Oh, so good. And it's not even that advanced of a haptics. It's just, you know, what I'm doing right now is just passing an impulse to it. But I worked in the toy industry, and it's all about like tactile, visual combinations of things. You can have very simplistic toys, but if you combine them with the right sounds and feel and visuals, like even a flashing LED, you can really make things feel so great. And what's really cool about this is it feels so connected to it, which is what I like. You know, when you play with an Xbox controller, you know, you're looking at a TV, you know, across the room, and it's not really like this, your hand is not in the line of sight, and this just has this kind of visceral feel combined with the sound and the visual and then the haptics. It's really nice. Anyway. Okay. Win. Big win. Let me see. Anyway, for those of you curious, Ben says, the sound of Jerry in the style of a Sega on startup. Sega. Yeah. Yeah, Sega nailed it with the startup sound. Let's see. So for those of you curious, the new SDK and driver, I think, is due out roughly this week if we can get the bug count low enough. And I kind of heard that was fairly low. We probably won't hold it up for this silly little haptics randomly going off when you stop Unity. I imagine it'll probably happen when you stop the game too. Because it's, you know, we always release like 1.4, 1.41, 1.42 with just minor updates. Let's see, it's 7:09. I'll probably go for another like 45 minutes if I'm not boring you all. I think maybe we should start thinking about loot pickups. I want to be able to kill the zombies and have them drop loot that you can swing around. I'm thinking, you know, because we have that reticle on the end of the wand, I think that would be a really intuitive way to pick up the loot and weapons and stuff. Like right now I've got this mega bullet that we built in the last video, bullet hack, where it shoots 3 bullets at once. But I think that eventually we need to be able to pick up weapons, and they should have a certain amount of ammo, and then you run them down. Ben Cox says, I might even decide to try out a game due to this series. I'm finding it inspiring and useful for a starting point, and that's all important aspect of confidence is to start. It's true. It's so true. Like, it's just that activation energy. It's like, I always have to fight, and I've done a lot of thinking about this, and maybe it's not well-founded or not, but like you get like most of the dopamine hit by just dreaming about doing something, which I think it's kind of sad in some ways. Like you can dream about doing something, and it's almost as good as doing it. Mike says, there we go, all caught up on the stream after watching from the beginning at 4X. I'm sorry, Mike. Did you catch me sneezing at 4X and talking to a blank screen and forgetting to install the SDK and picking my nose? Anyway, we're having a good time anyway. Okay, how do I want to do a pickup? Why don't we start simple? I want to think about how to do this. First of all, let's make these game boards a little less opaque. So if you're new to the series, when you install the SDK for Tilt 5 and you drag our plugin and you get a game board, and then you get 2 game boards you can put 2 game boards in there for each player. So in this game, each player can drag the game boards back and forth through a really simple script that we wrote, ChatGPT wrote, and it follows the characters. But one of the things that you're going to want to do is there's a gizmo opacity, so we can lower the opacity a little bit on each of these game boards so we actually see the rest of the scene a bit better. So I'm in the Tilt 5 prototype, and then I've got the 2 game boards, player 1 and player 2's game board. And then on each of those we can turn down this little gizmo. So now we can see things a little bit better. So let me rotate this scene around so it's how I'm actually facing the game board. I love this little asset pack. It's really cool. You've got these cool little voxel cop cars and there's a ton of stuff in this asset pack. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to instantiate a cube or something. We'll start hanging stuff off the cube maybe. I'm trying to decide whether where the script needs to live for each of the kind of loot pickup things. Whether I want it hanging off of the prefab that we're eventually going to make, which is this cube is going to be the kind of loot that we're going to pick up. because I need to be able to this is a tough one to decide where I want to put all the logic. So I could put the logic inside of the agent script here that's on each of the players. For each of the weapons. Yeah, okay. I think this is how I want to architect this. I don't want to have too much logic on the pickup, but I want some flexibility that I can have a bunch of different prefabs that are like health and weapons and ammo and stuff like that. So I think what I want to do is most of the logic is going to live on the agent script, but I think what I want to do is have, right now on this cube that I placed out there, I want to have a script that has some variables that I can interrogate. Let's see what the chat's saying. Any game where you unleash hell on the neighbors is good. I think I missed something on that comment, but I agree. Doing so as a goose would be amazing on, yeah, goose game. Press trigger to honk. I think I missed some of the context. That's cool. So here's a question. While I start to build this out, chat room, what do you think? Should we be able to shoot the loot to pick it up, or should we have to move our reticle to pick it up? In some ways, I feel that moving your reticle across it might be like kind of a Pac-Man satisfying effect. You know, just kind of swooping through and gobbling things up. But on the flip side, there might be a little bit of a learning curve for new players to understand that you have to shoot things. So Ben Cox says, is it not best to have a separate logic train for pickups so it runs independently? Appreciate you have to add to the agent as well, but would it be simple logic? Gives me more flex to pick up. So Okikimo, running across it would be an option, except for we've kind of dumbed this game down a little bit to have just waypoints where we move the character, because I didn't want to have free movement in it. Tag Media votes for reticle. Alan, reticle, yeah, I reckon. As long as ammo is unlimited, shooting might not be a bad idea. Well, Mike, I don't know if we should make every weapon's ammo unlimited. I kind of feel like you want to have some progression, like you get like the big mega weapon and you can just cause chaos for the duration until you expire that weapon's ammo, and then you have to go back to the just wimpy pistol. Oh, Johnny Speed has an interesting idea. Have special loot that you need to shoot and regular loot that just falls and has little colored ground spikes so players can see them. Oh, that could be interesting. So kind of like a loot box you have to shoot open. Okay. I'm going to add a new script. loot variables. This may be a terrible idea. We may just scrap it in the end, but what I'm going to do is just have a script that's attached to all of the loot. That way I can just have a lot of public variables, so I can define each of these prefabs and change like how much health you get, how much of shotgun bullets you get versus, you know, different weapons. Alan says the winner might be both. I kind of like it. The series is going to be like, let's try to make a game series 1000 because feature creep. At some point, I think it's close enough. What I need to do is I need to build this. As soon as 1.4 goes out, I should find some place I can stash this on the web to let you all try it. I don't want to do it on our website because it's always such a production. I kind of want to just find some place to dump it in like Google Drive and let you all play with it, and then give your brutal, vicious feedback of how terrible I'm doing. All right. And of course, our sysadmin folks might get pissed off if I just put it on our Google Drive stuff too. So where do people stash stuff these days, which is just a built binary? Unfortunately, I can't release the source code because it's an asset pack from Unity, the Unity store. Jeffrey says, Heavy Barrel, Contra, Russian Attack, Metal Gear would be all good games for reference for weapons and equipment items. I agree. I remember Russian Attack on my Commodore 64 back in the day. I liked it a lot, but it was so hard. So hard. Like, not having great joysticks on the Commodore back in the day. Yeah, everyone's saying Google Drive. Okay, well, we got Google Drive. I just didn't know if it was a bad place to put stuff. Let's start with just one simple variable. Yeah, Johnny Speed said if we had a WebMonkey, it wouldn't be such a production. Yeah, unfortunately, we've reached that stage where we have like a creative team that does website-y stuff, and it becomes a little bit more of a process. And they keep threatening to make like another tab on our website called Jerry's Junk or something like that. And what they need to do is just give me some kind of like direct FTP access where it just comes from hard drive in raw form up there, because I just do all kinds of like wacky stuff with our system that is good and bad. And let's add a variable. First, let's look at agent. I want to see what agent. I think there's a health in here. I want to know if it's an int or a hit points. Hit points is float. Okay, we're working in fractions of hit points, I guess. Yeah, okay, everyone says Jerry's Junk, totally do that. I mean, really, I need a place to put things like Curling Master, where you actually a 3-player curling game I built. Lathe Hero, where it's multiplayer, where you have to do wood turning and match a template. Desert Buses. I've been hacking around on Marble Maker. There's a protein folding thing I've been helping out, or unfortunately I kind of build the first thing and then other people take it away from me, but It'd be nice to dump some of this stuff out and get early feedback. Okay, so hit points are afloat. So we're going to go back to loot variables. We'll call it HP gained, public float. I'm going to default it to 0, and I think the way I'm going to start with, I don't need any of this junk. This script, I'm going to default everything to 0, and that way if I just add it to a prefab, it's not going to like add anything, no new weapons or anything to the agent script that interrogates it. Now I'm having second thoughts, because the agent script is not going to have the collider attached to it. It's Monday on Tuesday. This logic is hurting my brain. Someone's saying GitHub. Doesn't GitHub frown on putting executables up there, especially big ones? All right, let's take a look at the project. So this is going to be this reticle. It's going to be what we want to use to pick up so Tag Media asks, has anyone ever made a video media player and screen viewer for Till 5? Yeah, there's one for free on our webpage, in the labs page. Not Jerry's Junk, which doesn't exist yet. I personally haven't tried it. I've watched plenty of videos on our system. Like, that's kind of the first thing you always do is like just put a video player flat on the table, which is fine. And then you can also take left and right and get clever. You can actually do 3D movies on our system too, where you select layers for left and right and you overlap them together. It takes a little bit of work, but it looks pretty good. And what's kind of cool is because we're measuring your distance to the game board, the IPD seems to, you don't have the same problems you have on 3D TVs. I don't think anyone's actually built that and released it. We built them internally, but that'd be a good short project for one of these streaming things, is just make grab one of these video players and hack it so you can do a left-right image, with different visibility to each eye. Okay, let's start thinking here. I'm torn. I've got my logic for doing raycast. I'm kind of wondering if I want to do pickup loot as a raycast, because I already have some of the logic to identify what object with tag, I think. Maybe I'm misremembering. So this is the script that's attached. It's being moved around by the end of the one, and it raycasts down at 45 degrees. We've looked at this a few times already, but I always have to remind myself what's going on here. So This sets up the line that you see drawn down. I actually find like actually drawing a line is really useful for like for new users in particular, understanding what's happening. Without that line from the tip of the wand down to your reticle, they get a little confused, especially if you're trying to do something like when you're using the wand, you have some options when you're raycasting out of it to try to collide with things. You can have a raycast that comes straight out, but it forces you to have to do these things where your elbow's in the air and you're having to twist your wrist into really funny positions to point at things on the game board, which is not ideal. What's better is to do something, one method that we do quite a bit is raycast through the center of the headset down to the tip of the wand and then through out to the board. So basically you just kind of look at the tip of the wand and then line it up with the object out on the game board that you want. That's pretty handy. In the game here, if we go back real quick, it is fixed. It's not fixed by, well, I'm not going to go back, but it's not raycasting down. I wanted something even more, I think it's a tiny bit more intuitive, where it's just 45 degrees off the tip of the wand, but I limited the rotation so rotation of the wand this way has no effect. It's always headed down towards the game board, and it seems like people can pick that up. Yeah, Alan says, inconvenient human ergonomics. It's true. We'd considered making the wand. We identified this a long time ago. I almost put the stick like this, and that actually would make a lot of sense to do that more like a pistol grip. But we felt that it was, a little unintuitive. Okay, let's go back to our script. Let's take a look at this guy. We create a new ray. So this is a ray cast. This is tipping it down 45 degrees. And we are finding all the hits, what it's hitting. And right in here, so we loop through everything that the raycast has hit, and we do something when we hit the floor, which is a plane that I put across. It's just an invisible plane that is at the height of the where all the action is. And then we move the pointer to that position, that reticle. And so that reticle, then our player points its gun right at that reticle. Yeah, Mike, also the packaging would be pretty awkward because we'd probably have to put it in sideways and like takes up a lot of space. There's a lot of things you have to think about when you build a product. Here, I'm going to grab the box that I have sitting off over here. So this box, this one's beat to hell. It's been around the world like 10 times, but this box has very specific dimensions. So first of all, so it can go through postal worldwide without incurring extra cost for the customer. So we had to look at all the different countries we wanted to ship to, and they all have different, each of their last mile post has like requirements, like, so if it's like 20 centimeters, it's lower cost. If it's 21 centimeters, then it can be like 40% more. It's kind of ridiculous. And then the other thing you have to consider is when these are coming out of the factory, how they go into master boxes. So how many of these go into one big carton? Well, no, wait, let me back up. You can't ship them like this. You also have to consider it has to slip down in a protective box. Moki says, love that white noise. Must be talking about my CPU fan screaming right here. OBS is a cog. It just makes this laptop scream. It has to go into a brown box, and then that brown box is what you ship it in. But then you have a master box which holds, I forget how many we put in the master box. It's like 6 or 10 or something fit in the master box, and so that happens at the factory. Then the master box has to nest optimally on the pallet, and then the pallet, and then of course there's a lot of analysis you have to do, like how much weight is pushing down once you have a pallet that's stacked to the maximum height, and there's a maximum height, and it's just like all of this work you've got to do. Once you figure out like kind of what the optimum size is, then you have to figure out, you know, how do you pack out all the pieces in here. And so we wanted to have a 1-player, 2-player, and a 3-player option. So we had to nestle everything in and fit it within this space. It was pretty tricky. We didn't have much extra buffer here. So glasses 1, 2, 3, a place for your cables and, you know, goodies, and then 3 wands like nestled in. So yeah, anyway, I'm sorry I'm a little off topic, but if we'd even considered doing that, we probably wouldn't have been able to like get the economics right on the packaging even. Jeffrey says I should get a i9 laptop. I don't know what this is. This is a ROG laptop. I'm not particularly happy with it. It was like $800 or $900. It's a Ryzen 5000 series, and it has a GeForce RTX in it. Like when I'm using it for Tilt 5, I can run 4 headsets. The fan does spin up. However, just turning on OBS and not actually streaming, it just like howls. Okay, I'll try to help you out with the white noise. I think I can do this without making you go deaf. No, I don't think it helped. It's still white noise. So I will move you back because I don't want you on my game board. All right. Okay. Why don't we do something? Let's put a tag. I'm gonna do something simple at first. What am I searching for? Transform game object equals M floor. Oh, that's interesting. What was I doing? Can't I just search it by tag? By name? I may want to revisit this. Let's see if I can remember the syntax. If not, we'll go to ChatGPT and have ChatGPT help us. So we're going to search for hits. So this is the list of things we've hit, which we're iterating through. Looking to see, I forget the syntax. Maybe it's under transform. Tag? Does it let me do that? The transform of the rigid body or collider that was hit. No, I don't think that's right. Tag Media says just picked up a ThinkPad TG15 for $400 used, i9. Oh, for 400 bucks. That is a good deal. Here, I've had such good luck with ChatGPT. I know it's going to offend you all, but let's see if it can figure this out for me. Grab this little piece, because I can't remember the syntax of by tag. Okay. In this code snippet, we're checking a raycast list of collisions. That's right, it was hits. It was called. Hold on one moment. Recast all. Raycast hits. Go, go, robot hallucinations, Mike says. Yes. I was using it last night to do some creative stuff for a kind of retro project, and it really started hallucinating. It wouldn't stop. I've never seen it do this. I had a list of kind of normal names. I don't want to give away the little surprise. Normal kind of names, and then I asked it to modify them in a silly way, just kind of come up with equivalent silly versions that kind of say the same thing. And it started hallucinating, and it just wouldn't stop. It just kept spitting him out. Usually, it just cuts off after a certain number of lines. I just let it go because it was hallucinating really well. All right. Recast hits. Recast. Hits. In this code snippet, we're checking. Is the hits? How do we modify this code to detect a hit of a game object by tag? So I might be able to kill two birds with one stone. It's a little weird, I think, that I'm bringing in a game object and doing a comparison like this when I can just do it by a tag. All right. To modify this code snippet to detect a hit of a game object by its tag, you can use the tag property of the game object class. All right. I'm going to leave the old piece that's looking at the floor but I'm going to make a new tag, which is going to be our loot that we pick up. While I'm in here, this kind of looks familiar. And Jeffrey says, now you have me curious about what would happen if you asked ChatGPT to come up with names as if it was on LSD. It would probably comply and go for it. All right, I want to do, I want to destroy the game object when I hit it. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask it to do this. Destroy the game object that matches the hit. Because we've got to get rid of it. I mean, this is probably not the way that we want to get rid of the loot. We may want to do some sparkles or something, but yeah, that's kind of what I thought it was. Totally. If you want to destroy the game object that matches the specific tag when it's hit by the raycast, you can use Unity's destroy method. Modify the code inside the if statement like this. So, sorry, this is a little weird because it's working within, you know, moving the reticle around, but I just wanted to get this piece of syntax here. And I wanted to make sure I understood the syntax of destroying the game object when we hit it. I think that would be a good stopping point. If I can move the raycast over it and destroy the cube, then we can build off of that next stream. Since I wasted half of my stream, you know, futzing around with an SDK that wasn't installed or sneezing on my keyboard. Alright, so I'm going to make, inside of this, I'm going to do a little of this. I just cut and paste that from ChatGPT. Oh, correction, wrong place. I saw the little red squigglies. I'm like, why am I not getting I? But I'm outside the for loop. Okay. And then it was destroy. My work computer just rebooted because it wanted to do a Windows update. So it's hits I transform game object, I think. Is that right? Johnny Speed says, wait, is there a limit about stream available? How do you waste it? Well, I just wasted it by not being efficient this time around. But I'm very happy with the haptics. I'm loving that. And I'm also, if you watch my previous stream, I was complaining that the wand had a bug where it would, like, if it just sat here by itself, it wouldn't track. Looks like I haven't run into that this time. The problem we were having prior, I think 1.3 something, a bug was introduced. Like if your glasses weren't looking at the wand for a while, something would kind of drift away, and then you'd put the glasses on and look at the wand, and it just wouldn't reestablish. Chris says, food, home, pinball? Pinball. Yeah, I'll probably play a little pinball on the way out. We have a dozen pinball machines of mine here. What should we call the tag, I wonder? How about loot in kind of lead speed? Yeah, Mike says pew pew haptics is definitely a milestone. I've been waiting for haptics for a long time. They've been in there the entire time, but other every time I complained about it, the team would be like, "Do you want multiplayer? Or do you want haptics? You can have one or the other." And so haptics just kept getting pushed to the bottom. Finally, like things are stable enough, we can start going after some of the fun little pieces, quality of life stuff. Okay, let's tag this. Add tag plus loot. Hopefully there's no problems with using numbers. Oh, Chris, you're part of the Usagi Electric pinball drama. So Usagi Electric and I have been having pinball competitions at these different events, and he chickened out this time and didn't show up at VCF Midwest. Unfortunately, it always comes down to this. I'm like whooping him and doing a great job and winning every game, and then it's like, okay, it's time to go home. It's all the marbles on the table. Twice now, or maybe even 3 times now. 3 times. He did it on my home turf here in the office a few weeks ago. Every time I lose it when it comes to for all the marbles on the last game. Alright, let's get this tagged with loot. Alright, before we actually test this, it's in one more, maybe 2 more show and tell. One of these is going to be easy. Alright, get your typing fingers ready because I'm going to show you something, but I need to cover part of it up so you can't see what it says. Alright. Tell me what you think this is. Circuit board. The funny pattern on it. So chat says, I won't say that. This definitely makes me want to get back into coding and game creation again. Also damn tidy, too impressive. Yeah, game design is kind of fun. Yeah, Chris, I should tighten up the tilt pendulum. Alright, someone says joystick, you're close. Definitely back of a 4-way controller. Joystick pads, you guys are circling around it. Alright, Chris got it. It looks like an Atari joystick. This is. So, this is... Isn't this amazing? Atari service, printed circuit board. Can you imagine a time where you could actually service your own joystick? And like a company would like offer a blister pack? It's crazy. Like, as much as I love the maker community, I can't imagine like blister packing, you know, the circuit board of one of these wands and expecting someone to do it without like completely screwing it up. Yes, so the chat's like for the 2600. So yeah, there's the instructions back when things, even video game consoles, were serviceable. I feel really fortunate. I think I got this on eBay a year or 2 ago. You know, this was meant to be like at the store. There's a little punch out here for to hang it. Isn't that cool? All right, last show and tell, and then we're gonna try this. I've been talking about VCF Midwest, so I need to share some of the loot. And we're talking about loot and everything. I had some major loot pickup at VCF Midwest. I'm going to start with some of the boring stuff, and I'll expand on it as we do the next streams. So I have to position my hands just right because this is amazing. It needs to have the right presentation. All right. No, I blew it. I blew it. States and capitals for Timex Sinclair. Oh. Penetrator for Timex Sinclair. Androids. Let's take a look at this. So these are on cassette. Let me show you the inside of one of these. The Sinclair was a real stinker when it came to games. But I couldn't pass these up. Partly because of the box art. There's the manual, really cool box art. Back in the days where the game sucked so bad, you had to have good box art to kind of prime the user to use their imagination when they play it. But blister pack on audio cassette. So I need to do a live stream one of these days where I have a capture card and we fire up one of my many dozens of retro game consoles or computers around here. So this is Androids. That's what it looks like. I need to get a different webcam. This sucks. I'm a little dubious if the Sinclair can pull this off very well, but I'm excited to try. Every Sinclair game I played back in the day, every time the character would move, because the CPU is so busy drawing the screen, it would either blank the screen or there'd be like artifacts. The seller threw this one in for free, states and capitals. I'm like, all right, take it. It's actually probably was a really good use for the Sinclair back in the day. Actually, Sinclair. Oh. This is for. Oh, this isn't for the ZX81. Oh. I don't think. I think this is for the. I have one over there. It's one of the later ones, so maybe it wasn't as bad as the ZX81. Yeah, I'm trying to look to see what machine it actually ran on. ZX81 was just black and white, right? That's all I remember, but it could have been because my television was only black and white when I was a kid. Penetrator. That's what Penetrator looks like. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get one of my tape decks out and one of my mini Sinclairs, and we're gonna play those one of the days. But this is what I was really angling for. Same vendor, I just like scooped up a bunch of stuff. Ta-da! Pinball construction set. Back when Electronic Arts distributed their games in almost like record sleeves, and then you pull your disc out of there. Had this as a kid, loved it. And of course, you get to build your own pinball machines, and first thing you do is you put like 10,000 flippers and 10,000 pop bumpers, and the ball can't make it to the bottom. Anyway, I'm recreating this on Tilt 5. I have a pinball construction set. It's actually working quite well right now. It just needs a little polish, and then it can go into Jerry's Junk lab page. All right. Almost done with my drink, and I'm going to polish off this drink, and then we're going to test it and see if I can actually kill that cube on the screen with the glasses. That was good. Alan says every game company had their own ideas about box dimensions. Yeah, we went boring rectangle. We should have done some of those wacky ones that look like old arcades and stuff. Um, the Coleco game boxes that look like mini arcades, they're stupid expensive, and I don't have one yet. Hmm. Okay. Uh, take it back. Maybe the bug's still there. It's taking a little while for that wand to track. Oh, I thought we had it. Okay, let's go big screen. Can you guys even... Oh, there's the cube. Do you see the cube? Looks like lower right. I haven't collided with the raycast yet. I'm sneaking over, getting close. Ah, haha, killed it. Yeah, woo. So now, I think that's going to give us the ability to detect. Let me just talk through. Go back.
It's 8 p.m.
Ah, thanks, Vox Clock. You're reminding me I should eat. And by the way, those that watched the last stream, I actually did go have a salad, and I think I might want a salad again tonight, because I ate a chimichanga last night with refried beans, which is going to give me a heart attack at a young age. Yeah, Alan says, take that, you freaking cube. Anyway, let's look at the code real quick, and then we will wrap up for tonight. So I think if I can muster the energy tomorrow or the next day, whenever we do the next stream, what I'm going to do is when we collide, I will go and come say hi, Amy.
Who are you talking to?
I'm live streaming.
Oh, you're live streaming. Oh, awesome.
Want to say hi?
Hello, everyone.
Amy's working late.
Yep. Devin is too.
Devin's here?
Yep.
2 or 3 of us left in the office?
Yep. Like the night owls.
The night owls, yeah.
I'll send you a message.
I'm almost done. I'll come see you in a bit. Everyone's
Okay.
saying hi.
Bye.
What we're gonna do tomorrow-ish is we're gonna grab that game object, we're gonna read all the variables, and we're gonna transfer them to each player's agent. And inside the agent, we have a lot of fun things that we can modify, and we'll just keep building on this, like hit points. We had hit points somewhere, so we'll be able to pick up like health packs, and we'll be able to add to our health pack. That's interesting. I just thought of like an edge case. Question for you, chat. If you're dead and laying on the ground, so I'm looking at this, is alive. If you're dead on the ground and this is false, and you pick up some health points, should it revive you? Anyway, so like tomorrow we'll pull stuff out of that script that can be like, let me show you the script real quick. On the cube, now in the editor, we have hit points gained. I could set this to hit points gained 10, and I could move that to the hit points. It's kind of an interesting thought. Can we let players self-revive? Oh, Chris has an interesting idea. Zombie mode. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe you come back as a zombie. Anyway, so I think we can build off of this. I might have a change of heart by tomorrow how I want to do all this. But I think it'll work. It may be stupid, maybe not. Yeah, Alan says maybe they have a few seconds after dying to grab a health pack. That could be kind of cool. I also like the idea of you become a zombie and you can attack the other player. So I was mentioning earlier about Bombfest. When you die in Bombfest, you actually become a bomb and you can kind of roll towards people. It's hilarious. And so it took me like 5 or 6 rounds to realize that I came back as a bomb. And it was just so fun. We were all in there playing together, and Justin, who plays a lot of the play testing with us, he's like, "No, no, Jerry, get away from me! No, no!" And you can mash the B button or something to blow up spontaneously. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Go buy your Tilt 5 system if you want to build a game or play some of the existing games or soon. I think it's ready. I could probably put it out as is. It's really junky, but maybe I'll build a Google Drive and put it out for the next stream if you have a Tilt 5 already. But anyway, have a good evening, and it looks like the team was coming to try to find me, so I should be a good CEO and figure out what disaster is happening. Bye. If I can find the stop button. Oh, Mike says, got to already. My nephew always asks me to bring it when I visit the Bay Area. Why don't you visit us when you visit the Bay Area? Oh, Chris says, pick one up for geology. Yeah, actually, there's a group out of Stanford doing shark and dolphin tracking. Like,